So I just finished watching The Edge of Sleep Season 1, so let's get into it. But before we get into the actual video, I just want to say, if you guys enjoy these videos, subscribe or like, because these take a long time to make. And if you have any suggestions on what I should review next, go ahead and leave that in the comments. But without further ado, let's start.
He's not breathing. What the fuck? What the hell did he take?
The show starts on a plane, but I'm going to skip this because I'm going to come back to it at the end of the video. In this story, we follow Dave. Every single time Dave goes to sleep, he has a nightmare. But it's about the exact same thing over and over. Oh, well. Dave dreams of a cult of people warning him about a elephant man. Then wakes up in the real world and gets laughed at by his friend, whose name is... Wait, I got this. I got this. Matteo, that's his name. Matteo forces Dave to come to a party with him, and I mean force. Dave did not want to go, but he does. It's a dead man. I'm just kidding, he's asleep. They walk in and Dave instantly becomes the talk. Hate this guy, and you guys are about to see why. Here we learn Dave has a sleep disorder called parasomnia, and they bring up an embarrassing story from his past and make fun of him for it. Bro is not amused. They bring up Dave's ex and makes fun of her for being a recovering addict, which riles Dave up. Matteo sees this and helps out Dave and doesn't hesitate to start squaring up. While the two were fighting, a party member collapsed and Dave realized he wasn't moving. And this guy did, I guess. Dave checks his pulse and realizes he's not breathing. And instead of calling the police or calling an ambulance, you want to know what this guy does? Him and his friend act like my dad and bail. Dave goes into the homeowner's room and finds them both not breathing. Assuming something is in the air, he covers his face and runs to Montino to tell him that both of them are dead. They put all three dead bodies into Montino's trunk, and Dave calls his ex because she was also at the party. They finally get to the hospital and go inside, only to see that the hospital has basically become a morgue. They tell a doctor that they have 3 dead bodies in their trunk, but they can't do anything due to how many deaths has already been at the hospital just today. In the waiting room at the hospital and see 2 old people. Yes, old. I don't care how young the woman is. She's old. The 2 fall asleep and they're closing the hospital, but one nurse does not want to do that. This is Linda, by the way. The last 2 nurses has the choice to stay or go home. They choose to stay, but one of the nurses chooses to take a 10-minute nap. Dave realizes that one of the old person is foaming at the mouth. He checks their pulse and realizes that they're dead and screams for help. They tell the nurse that they just died in their sleep, so she checks on her nurse friend and she finds out that she had died in her sleep. And that's the end of episode 1. That was a very happy episode, right?
Hit the whole town.
The episode starts off with a dream sequence of Dave and his mother. At least I think that's his mother. They are saying the alphabet and Dave doesn't say the letter E, and his mother kind of crashes out, but I don't know. The scene changes into this room with the cult people from earlier, all diddling Dave. Dave wakes up and wakes up his partner. Did I not mention that this is in the past? No? Well, it is. Linda crashes out at Matteo for wanting answers, which she does not have any. Linda convinces Matteo and Dave to take her to the police station, which on the way to the police station, she tells Matteo to pull over, and then she gets out, pulls out her strap, shoots the gun, then basically says the entire town is dead. What kind of nurse has a gun on their person?
Oh my god, this has to be taking place in America, I swear.
The trio searches everyone's houses in the neighborhood and finds the people living there dead in their bed, which Linda and Dave come to the conclusion that the death has to be a part of sleep. Their logic was that everyone that they found dead was sleeping in their bed or on the couch. So all 3 of them tried to contact someone who they believe is awake at the moment. Dave obviously calls Katie, but doesn't get a response, so he calls again. Matteo had the brilliant idea to go to the radio station down the street and broadcast the message that if you sleep, you die. So they begin going, but the car broke down. And how does Dave help in this horrible situation? You guessed it, he calls Katie again. But this time, she picks up and she tells him to stop calling her and that she's going to go to bed. So you want to know how Dave reacted to this? Yep, you guessed it. Why do all this work for a girl that doesn't even want you, bro? By the way, Mateo got the car working again. Dave kicks Katie's door open and gets hurt. Can I say that? Is that a funny joke to make? Do we still do those jokes now? I don't know. Katie wants to call the police on Dave, but nobody responds. It's almost like Dave told her that would happen. I hate this girl too. I hope she dies. Linda makes the radio broadcast, and that is where episode 2 ends.
Oh, shit. What is going on?
This guy's important later in the episode. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name. I'm lazy and I don't want to. Do you wonder why Katie and Dave broke up? Well, in this episode, it tells us why. Well, technically, it tells us why. It's implied. Katie wakes up and walks to the bathroom to where Dave is and sees that he has carved a triangle into the middle of his chest. Now, this is not the reason why they broke up. Why they did break up was because he had no memory of doing it. He didn't even know he did it. This idea is also enhanced by a conversation they had later in the episode. Remember when I said this guy was going to be important? Well, he's Dave's doctor. The squad goes to the hospital and soon realize that there is a patient that's still alive. But soon after, they realize that she's only alive because she's in immense pain. Back to the past, Dave's doctor has been looking through Dave's drawings and seen 2 different entities on the pages consistently. The elephant and the dream people. Dave's doctor wants to scan Dave's dreams with the dream chamber. But we'll get back into that because we're going back to the present. Linda's plan is to cut open the skull of one of her patients who died in their sleep. Linda starts the procedure by removing the skin off the forehead, but she realizes that the skin is hot despite them being dead. Then she starts using the buzzsaw on the patient's skull and obviously got some blood on Mateo, and he crashes out. And during their argument, Dave realizes that the skull is smoking, so Linda finishes her procedure and the episode ends on Dave looking at the marking that is engraved into the brain.
I found something.
What?
There was a spike in her alpha and beta waves right before her heart stopped. That's when she died.
So I have a question. Katie now knows about what they found, but she didn't piece together that Dave and the symbol could be connected, despite knowing what he did to himself. Katie and Dave talk about how he's feeling currently, and he feels like he should still keep some things a secret to her, because why wouldn't he? She left him for being vulnerable. Makes sense to me. In the past, they put him in the dream chamber and make him face his nightmares head on. In the nightmare, he finds himself, but turns out it was actually a baby elephant. And the doctor's screen flashed danger. The doctor tried to wake him up, but unfortunately, when he woke up, Dave stabbed him in the neck. Anyways, the old woman offers to help them in figuring out what's happening with the world by taking an MRI scan of her brain while she falls asleep. After she dies, Linda finds out that there was a spike in her brain before she passed and figures out that she died in a nightmare. And Big Mateo crashes out once again. Dave offers to go into a dream state for 2 minutes and then shows his scar. In his dream, he is stuck. He cannot move at all. Eventually, a car comes to him, and inside the car was his mother, who gives him a drink, which he looks inside of and has an eyeball with a triangle on his chest. They see a random person, but this turns out to be one of the dream people that he keeps dreaming about ever since he was a kid. This person tells This person tells Dave that they need to reach a place called Aristera. Then he gets woken up by Linda. Dave tells the group that they need to reach Aristera to survive. At first they were skeptical, but then they were like, what the heck do we have to lose? Our lives? We're probably gonna lose that anyway, so let's just go. Once they start driving to the plane, Katie starts to doze off. And to keep her awake, they inject her with Modifalist, I think is the name, but I'm gonna call it adrenaline because that's basically what it is. They reach the plane, but Katie is not confident that she will stay awake for 17 more hours, but Dave promises that he will not let her sleep. Onto the plane ride. It's basically just your normal plane ride, except for the very end, which Katie falls asleep. They tried to inject her with adrenaline, but she didn't make it. She's dead. Who cared? I did! I didn't want that guy alive! I didn't like her at all!
I need you, Dave. Stay with me. Dave, stay with me.
So this is the final episode in season 1. I'm pretty sure season 2 got announced, but it's hard to say when that will be released. Mateo's getting the Katie treatment and almost falling asleep, but Linda injects him with adrenaline, which gets him like high or something because like, what is this? David started to hallucinate because of the lack of sleep he's getting, but is shaken out of it. Mateo informs him that they have been circling the island for a while now and have nowhere to park it, so they're going to have to land on the water. Remember this scene from the start of the video? Yeah, this is another hallucination from Dave. I have no idea what it is, but it's a hallucination. Felt like it would be better to address it at the end of the video than the start of the video because it would have been kind of spoilery. So yeah, once they all reach the island, they all start walking in a path trying to find the temple. On their way to the temple, they have a ringing sound in their ears, which bothers them so much, but they have to press forward. Now, I'm gonna be honest, it's hard to tell if this is in Dave's head or if this is actually happening, but I'm assuming it's actually happening. They come across Katie's casket. Man, even in the grave, you're still bothering me. They do the ceremony for Katie. It's not really said, but I'm pretty sure this is all them dreaming because they wake up right after this. Let me continue explaining what's happening right here. Dave goes up to the casket and shuts it, but Katie's eyes open, which makes him hesitate. Now, personally, if somebody who I watched die opened their eyes, I'm out of there. I ain't talking to that guy. You're crazy. Dave noticed that Katie's eyes started glowing a little bit, so he forced himself to shut the casket, even though it was super hard for him somehow. Like, personally, if that was me. All three of them wake up at the exact same time. Interesting indeed. But turns out that they woke up right at the temple. A stranger walks up to them and offers them a place to stay and help and an explanation. Turns out that Dave is not the only one with these nightmares. Everybody on the island has had the nightmares saying to come to this island. He takes only Dave to the temple where we meet this guy, but for real this time. He tells us that the whales that we've been seeing through Dave's dreams were actually real and that they protect the earth from creatures like the elephant. But those creatures found a way to come into the veil through people's dreams, which is why many people have been dying in their dreams. There's an upcoming war against the oppressors and the defenders. It was said that those hallucinations when they were entering the island was caused by the elephant to stop them from joining the war. Then they tell Dave to go to bed because this island has no nightmares. So that's where this season ends, is them all going to sleep. But it isn't. I would love to say that's where it ends, but it isn't. Everyone who has died over the past 3 days wakes up with the triangle in their eyes. They are possessed. They're dead. They are living zombies. And the worst part, they have one living among them. So if you guys enjoyed this video, like, subscribe. Like I said in the beginning of this video, it takes a long time to make these videos, so I really hope you guys enjoy them. And I'm sorry that I only have 4 videos out now, but I'm getting more done now. I have a free run video coming out soon. I have an Iron Lung abridged video coming out. And I'm very excited for you guys to watch that one. So if you guys enjoyed, like, subscribe, and all that. And yeah, bye!